Alright, so I guess this is the patch 10.5 review that I just decided to do right now. We're waiting for Adrian anyway. Probably, maybe. So, this patch, we're addressing the 0 CS top lane problem in a more systematic way. I know Sona and Soraka were a problem, but I've heard that Janna has now become a problem. And we'll see if that's like true or anything. Let me actually add a stream marker here. There we go. So I heard Janna's becoming an issue with top lane. I don't understand how this is possible to like happen in top lane. Maybe if you're melee, I can kind of understand the support's beating you out early, but after that, it's like, what are you doing? Are you just stupid? Let me actually message Dan. I'm doing patch shots. Okay. There we go. Alright, so anyway. Let's see what else they're doing. We're making large changes to the top lane, aka nerfing supports. Current... Why did cute uwu girl invite me? Oh, God. Anyway. Current pro play mainstays Ornn and Set are also seeing some nerfs. No! Okay, Ornn definitely needs some nerfs. After what I've saw and what I've experienced, because I've mained Ornn for like the past patch and Aatrox, Ornn definitely needs a nerf. Set, I don't think he needs a nerf, but I guess he does. I personally think he's actually quite not weak, but very like one-sided. It's like if you win, you win. If you lose, you lose. It's basically like Tryndamere, right? It's Tryndamere. It's like if you win, you win. If you lose, you really lose. I feel like it's like that for Set. He's so simple and straightforward. It's like he's not overpowered. It's just people are bad. Or maybe his... if they're going to nerf anything, they're going to nerf his W. But anyway, what else are they doing? We have a second round of jungle champion changes to help slightly wind the pool, aka not fix actual junglers' problems, just make more people go into it. We've also got some ARAM. Okay, I'm not reading the rest of that. Alright, so here are the new skins. Hextech Sedge. Decent skin, she's hot, but we didn't need it. Black Frost Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai needed a skin, and I think Black Frost Rek'Sai is pretty good. Excuse me. Black Frost Renekton and Black Frost Alistar. Alistar definitely did not need a skin, and it's very similar to Hextech in my opinion. Alistar, or not Alistar, Renekton, I think is the best one of the group. He looks like a fucking dino that's like a midget, which is very funny. But overall, I'm disappointed with the skin line. It's basically just blue. It's like, what's the difference between Black Frost and Freljord? Almost nothing. It's just darker blue. But I mean, with the amount of skins they're going to pump out, it's like there's going to be some overlap. Which begs the question, like, eventually if they keep releasing so many skins, how are they going to be that unique? Aside from, like, lore and thematic-wise, it's like the in-game effects and shit can only be so different without making the champion unrecognizable. But that's a different thing. That's a different thing. So, what I'm really pet peeved about is the fact that the next patch we're getting a lot of skins, which is good, but the people for those skins I don't agree with. But aka 2 Lux Legendaries. But we'll go over that next patch. Let's get into actual changes. So, Alistar. I think Alistar is generally okay spot. I think engage supports are really strong still. Leon and Nautilus are still pretty strong. Nautilus isn't engage support, but he's kind of like a, okay, I go in and die, or I go in and almost die, and then I just do nothing until my 8-second cooldowns are up or whatever. I think he's in a decent spot. If anything, I would hope he gets buffed, because I feel like the other engage supports kind of outshine him. So what are they doing? Mukau needs more milk. I love that. So his base health is going up by 25. This does nothing. And his passive... Alistar can gain new stacks immediately. Oh, okay, so he can, like, kind of queue it up. Okay, that's good. Is it game-changing? No. Will it help? Yes. Alistar, slightly buffed. I think this is pretty good, actually. I think this will slightly help him. Amumu. I think Amumu is a little on the crazy side, just because he's building full AP, so I'm assuming, or I'm hoping, we're going to get nerfs to AP Amumu. Because tank Amumu, unless you're, like, an Amumu main, you really shouldn't go, or at least I don't see people going. I either see people going AP tank hybrid or full AP. So, what are they doing? They're increasing the cooldown of Curse of the Sad Mummy early. This does nothing. Bored. I hate Bard. I think he's one of the worst supports, if not the worst support in the game. Even when he's played well, I think it's so rare, and it's kind of the question of, like, is it worth what you put in? Is it worth putting all that time into Bard to get good at him, where you could put that time into another champion and do so much more? I feel like Bard is so hard for not, like, a good return. Essentially, Kale. I think he's, like, the Kale of supports. He could be pretty good, and he does need some time to get going. His greatest menace to me is early game. If you have a Bard with, like, Ignite, Electrocute, that's, like, the biggest threat you'll have in, like, the first 10 minutes. After that, he becomes, like, just kill fodder. Like, you just kill him. He's an annoyance. He's a really bad annoyance, too. I hate him. But they're buffing him. I do kind of think he needs buff, because aside from being an annoyance, he's not that good. So, additional damage per 5 chimes. They're actually nerfing it. Wow, I thought they were buffing it. Bard has to be pulled back a bit to how much he's succeeding at high levels of play. Where is he succeeding at high levels of play? I feel like they're, like, shoving their heads up their asses and looking at this. But whatever. I don't agree with this. But, you know what, better. Hopefully people don't use Bard. Blitzcrank. Again, Blitzcrank kind of gets outshined by the other engaged supports, mostly because he's, like, not an engaged support. I mean, he kind of is. It's just he's a catch-out support. So, like, you know, I would say he's in the same position as Alistar. He's good. He's not as great as the others, but he's not bad. If you pick him, he's not bad. I think Alistar is a bit better than him, because after Blitz grabs, yeah, he silences, but that's it. Blitz only has 2 relevant abilities, while Alistar maybe has, like, 3. His ulti to help him live, his Q, and his, actually, no, all his abilities are pretty good, actually. And his passive. Never mind, Alistar's way better. Blitzcrank is getting nerfed. Oh, this is what they're saying. So because of the new system they implemented where the win rate determines if something's OP, and not if it actually is, Blitzcrank was about to hit that threshold for win rate, I guess, by this description. And they're nerfing him because of that, so he doesn't become too OP, and the way they're doing that, they're making him less tanky, which I honestly think is okay. Again, with Blitzcrank, unlike Bard, his main threat is at all times because of the grab. However, if he falls behind, you could literally just smack the shit out of him and kill him. Aside from the fact that he has the mana shield. The mana shield is a big part of his kit early, and I feel like late if you stack mana. Aside from that, it's pretty ass, but this kind of gives more, like, importance to the mana shield, hopefully. Not by much, but by something, right? But realistically, what does this do? Nothing, so I don't even know why I'm spending that much time on it. Graves. So, Graves is an interesting champion that has been constantly nerfed, then been constantly good, then been constantly nerfed. What do I think of him now? Right now, I think he's kind of weak. I think kill junglers in general, except for a select few, are kind of weak. Xin Zhao, despite what I've seen Xin Zhao's pop off. I think he's kind of weak, and I see him in the same lane as Graves. Him and Graves are like kill carry junglers, except Graves is ranged. But yeah, I think Graves is just, they nerfed him too much, and or the jungle just changed. But maybe since the jungle is changing once again, maybe he'll be back in, and they're obviously changing him, so I'm assuming we're going to see buffs, because he's kind of weak. Graves has been weak for higher tier play, which seems to be the only thing they balance around, and middling for everyone else. Giving him back some of the magic resist we pulled off his E. What? No. So his magic resist is going up by 2, his growth is going up by 2.5. Oh, so they're not doing anything with the E. What the fuck? I thought they were giving it back. This does, like, barely anything. And his Q costs 60 mana flat. He doesn't really have mana problems. The cooldown's going down by 1 second. That's pretty good. Overall, pretty good. Will it help him? No. Oh, mama, Caixa. Okay. So, Caixa got similar treatment to Graves. She came out. She was insanely overpowered. The passive, the Q, the W, the ult, almost everything about her was, like, insanely good. The E, too. Since her release, she... Oh, great. Little Bob, fucking Bob's furniture advertisement. Anyway, Since Kai'Sa's release, every aspect of her kit has gotten nerfed. Her W got changed and then nerfed. Her passive got changed and then nerfed. Her Q got nerfed and changed. Her E got nerfed. Her ult got nerfed. Everything about her got nerfed. And eventually it was enough to where her and Caixa, even though they were very safe with Kai'Sa's invisibility and ulti and Xayah's ulti, even though they're so safe, they got nerfed so hard that people didn't just, auto pick them, in a sense. I still think they're very good. I still think, like, Caixa and Xayah, in my opinion, are top tier ADs. I think Caixa more so. Or not Caixa, sorry. I think Xayah more so than Caixa. I think Xayah is better than Caixa at this point. But it depends what you value. I think damage for damage and team fighting, Xayah is better. I think for, like, 1v1s and just having fun and being easy, Caixa is better. I feel like you have to think more on Xayah with the feather placement and everything than you do on Caixa. But they're both really good. It's just they're not free. They're not like free win. So I'm assuming we're going to see buffs because their win rates actually like plummeted quite a bit. I actually looked at their win rates. They're like sub 49, 8, or 7% respectively. I think they fluctuated though. But I'm assuming see buffs. What are they doing? The goal of these changes is to power up Caixa as she evolves, especially as she starts to specialize in either AP or AD. However, there should be whatever trade-off based on that evolution. Even though she literally gets every evolution based on her build. But whatever. So the damage ratio is going down. So you're encouraged to build more AD to get what damage you did have. Oh no, that's AP. Oh, never mind. This is stupid. This does nothing. But the missiles are going up, so the AD variant is getting stronger. They're actually giving her back the 12 missiles. She used to have 12. They nerfed it to 10. They're giving it back 12 and reducing the AP, which is fine by me. The AP scaling is a bit, like, decent. It was 0.4. But you didn't necessarily build that much AP on her. I personally did, like, an AP-AD hybrid, but more AD than anything. Void Seeker. What do they do to this? They buffed it by 10 and increased the AP scaling and nerfed the AD scaling. So they just traded off some power here and there, but I feel like this is just a straight buff. It's not really specializing in either tree because you're building both AD and AP, so it doesn't matter. And then the cooldown, on top of just fixing numbers around, which kind of does nothing, they just upgraded both abilities by like an amount that doesn't rely on scaling, which is really good for Caixa. It's just like a net buff no matter what. It's 70% cooldown refund against champions. That's really good. That's insane. I think Caixa will definitely see play after this. There's no way she doesn't. There's no way she fucking doesn't. Especially with that new Q. Oh, mama. That should be good. And the W for AP Caixa, but still. Even without AP, this does a shit ton of damage, and it procs the passive. This is amazing. This is so good. Kane. What do I think of Kane? Normal. Maybe a little underpowered because he's a buff. So let's see what they're doing. Smoothing out Kane's transformation. Side buff to his catching ability. Okay. So his orb gain rate increases constantly every second after 5 minutes, flattening out at 13. Oh. Oh, so it keeps increasing. Okay. So by 13, if you're not getting it at 13, that's the fastest you will get it, if at all. And then they're increasing the slow from 60 to 70. I feel like the slow and the W doesn't matter for jack shit, honestly. And you gain orbs faster. I remember I saw, like, someone tweet about this around Reddit that, like, this equates to a 3% faster orb collection rate, which, again, means nothing. So while these look nice, and they probably are nice, they realistically don't mean anything. Lissandra, I feel like, is kind of strong, but is very weak in defined ways, aka range. She kind of is occupying a lot of different roles, right? She could kind of be a poke mage. She could kind of be an engage. She could kind of be a defensive character. She could kind of be tanky with Aftershock. She could do a lot of different things. Not well, but there's variety with her. I assume we're going to see buffs just because she doesn't do anything that well and, like, she's kind of weak overall. We're putting some power back into Lissandra's cold bread and frozen butter abilities. Some reason they can't just eat them willy-nilly. Wow. I feel like early game, the Q does nothing on Lissandra, but late game, God, that thing has no cooldown, and it just fucking chunks. It's insane. But early game, yeah, this kind of sucks. But this kind of helps for late game, so they're just buffing her late game, which I think is the better part of her aside from the range stipulation. But that's whatever. This does very little, but something. So cool. Nico. Nico's been a mess. I've seen on the Reddit, like, this champion's horrible, this champion sucks, this champion's been designed terribly, that her ult and Silas's ult should be the opposite of what they are. Like, she should have Silas's ult, Silas should have hers. And based on their kits alone, it would make a lot of sense. Nico could steal other people's ults because she can mimic them. Wow. Silas goes in, stores magic, releases magic, and then blows everything up around him. Wow. It's not like... Kit-wise, like, lore-wise, it could work out. Kit-wise, it could definitely work out. Like, Nico's whole thing is to stay away from the enemy. Like, the further you are, the better the E is. And then, you know, everything else is like that, too. Well, I don't know what I'm saying. Wait, so the E is the root, and the farther away, the more people you hit. I think it's the more people you hit, the longer the root is. And then you Q. And then to get in, you would either have to W, invis, and trade out your escape tool to go in an ulti, or just flash ulti, which, like, doesn't synergize with the kit. The ulti just doesn't synergize with the kit. But, and you know what's better? If you were, like, they could have made it where if you were disguised as someone and you use their ulti, it would look like that person using their ulti. Like, you would really fool people. This makes no sense. Dude, Nico and Silas's kit need to be changed. Holy fuck. But yeah, she's really weak and her whole kit doesn't make sense, so I'm assuming buffs. Giving Nico buffs for any situation, no matter what shape she takes. So her attack speed's going up, her attack speed ratio's going up, and her AP ratios are going up, and the shield's going up on Pop Blossom. And the shield scaling's going way up too, my god. So yeah, they're just straight buffing everything about her. This might actually... This could actually enforce both things. This could enforce the AP one-shot build, aka the normal traditional build of, like, Nico. Or this could influence the attack speed Nico. I think the attack speed Nico is honestly better. Fuck the ulti. You just use the ulti if someone tries to go on you. Which, if you're playing like an AD, basically, they will. So it's mostly used for defense, and it gives you a shield. Yeah, I think AD attack speed Nico. Well, not AD, but like attack speed Nico is better. But you can definitely go burst now, and it'll be better. Everything is just naturally better. It's just the whole kit just doesn't make sense. Her kit's retarded. Ornn. This champion has to be nerfed, and I know I don't know what they're doing because I don't look at most of these. I try and like just give my guess. I feel like Ornn is gonna get hit where the brittle is. The brittle is the main problem. It does so much max health percentage. It's insane. And with the new Ornn combo that's floating around and how many times you could apply brittle, you could apply brittle if you're fighting someone in like an instance 3 times. That's, let's assume this is like in the later game. That's 18% of your max health 3 times on a tank in the matter of like 5 to 7 seconds. He will not lose that fight. And to further add on to that, his passive gives him more tank, 10% more tank, which with the tank rune will give him 20, with Earth Dragons will give him even more. And then he has like upgraded items for himself. He's insanely tanky and does so much damage. He's crazy. And he helps the team. They have to nerf the passive. There's no way they're not. Shut the fuck up, computer. Okay. So, what are they doing? We're lowering his damage a bit and reverting a prior buff that we had originally put to ram him back into pro play. The ram's now a little too aggressive and butting heads way too often. So, his passive, the only thing getting touched. Brittle proc damage, 12 to 20.5 from 10 to 18. Okay, that's reasonable. That's good. Masterwork item auto upgrade start to level 13. So now at level 13 and 14 respectively, you could upgrade your own items. Ally Masterwork, instead of starting at 13 going to 16, is now 14 to 17. So they're just making him more niche into later game, which is fine with me. I don't mind that at all. This is great. I don't think he's bad now. I think he's more in line. Is he still good? Yes. Is he as good as he was? Obviously not. But did this impact him? I would say not really. I mean, the late game thing kind of does hurt. The levels does hurt. But the brittle damage is insane. So I think this is fine. I think Ornn will still be played, and I will still play him. If my thoughts on him change, I may say it again next patch if he's in next patch. But We'll see. How's Adrian doing? Damn, that's a long ass game. But yeah, I think this is fine, and it's needed. It's realistically needed. That's fine. Ramus sucks cock unless you're against an AD team. No change from last patch, basically. Wasn't actually okay like we thought, pulling back some of the power. Wait, he was too strong. What? They nerfed his attack speed. Attack speed Ramus was too strong. Jesus. His kit gives him a lot of attack speed, though, so... I mean... excuse me. I mean, this doesn't really change what Ramus is good at, so I guess this is fine. Okay, set. The other problem child, they said. Well, they said they're nerfing him. Without thinking, they have to nerf the W, right? The W is the main problem. I don't see any other part of his kit as a problem. His Q kind of sucks ass. His passive is barely relevant. His ulti kind of blows dick with its damage, unless you ult like a really healthy fucking tank. And then after that, it's like, oh well. He's mainly just used for either peel or... I don't know. He's so straightforward. I don't know. I feel like the only thing you could nerf about him is his W. So what are they doing? They're nerfing his jungle. So his armor is going down to 33. Oh yeah, they're definitely nerfing his jungle. His health regen is down. His health regen growth is down. Damn. The showstopper. This slows 1 second. That's fine. This does nothing. Except hopefully he doesn't go jungle. So Sivir. What do I think of Sivir? I think Sivir's in a kind of bad spot. I think she could be better. I mean, I think we're going to see buffs just because she's getting outshined by so many ADs. If Sivir's weak, she's so weak. If she's strong, she's overly strong. It's like Ezreal. It's like ADs that are these styles of like supporting the team and or being very safe, which Sivir kind of is a mix of both. Ezreal is like very safe. Sivir supports the team and is kind of safe. Not as safe as Ezreal, but she has a spell shield. And late game, she does damage and wave clear. She's really good late game. Not in terms of raw damage she outputs, which is nothing to laugh at, but like she brings a lot to the table. So what are they doing? They're definitely buffing her. They're buffing the Q by... Wait. What? Are they nerfing it? Wait a minute. Okay, no, they're buffing the ratio. Okay. And then on the hunt is 20, 25, 30. That's fine. So she's just better late. Okay, I gotta get through this fast. Okay, so. Sona. I'm pretty sure they're gonna buff Sona. They're gonna buff Sona because I feel like they whipped her too hard from top lane. And it's like she's really bad support. Same thing with Soraka. They at least hotfixed Soraka. They didn't hotfix Sona, I don't believe. But what are they doing? They are buffing her. They're buffing her AD and attack damage growth and then the move speed on E, which they keep changing because they don't know what to do with it. Does this do anything? Probably not. Who knows? Let me just get out of these fucking things. Alright, we're done with the champions. I want to go quick. But, let's see. Out of range cast. So I heard this was a big issue. And we'll see who they actually decide to go with. There was a lot of champions they were, like, gonna do this with. I don't know if they went through with it, but I guess we'll see. So, basically, as they say in this big paragraph, there's two things that'll happen when you cast an ability. Either you'll walk into range to cast it, if it's outside of your range, or you'll just cast it at whatever the max range is where you are. And they're changing this for a couple of people, which is MF, Sandra, and Varus. Interesting, wow. And they're saying that it makes them better. Even though it's something new to learn, it makes them better. Okay, anyway. Let's see. So I think the MF one makes it better. I think the Sandra Q makes it better, as they say. I think the Varus E is better. I think these are all better. I think there should be an option for this personally for like a lot of champions, but I think, oh my god. I think like there should just be an option for this, but I think this makes it better for these champions. So jungle champions. These champions obviously were not meant to jungle. Who would have thought? And now they're over buffing them for the jungle. So eventually they'll be too good at jungling. So Darius, Mordekaiser, Poppy. We'll see how these pan out. I think this is a terrible fucking idea, but let's see. All right, so turret plating. Turret plating has been a whole slew of issues, which I'm not going to read this whole big thing because I want to go quick, but let me skim it. For melee champs, okay, so it's easier for top lane to get them, and then bot lane is getting chastised again. Okay, the second or third lines, even if you do the same damage as before, we don't want to say turret plates take increased damage from melee champions. Okay, they're just making if there's more people, the platings take less damage. And then they gain less MR and armor, so it's easier to take more plates. But they gain more resistances the more people there are. Okay, that's fine. And they give a lot more gold, so that's fine too. So they're currently buffing Blade only for melee champions, which is gay. But, I mean, I guess that's their solution to buffing top lane, because who builds Blade in the top lane? Tanks and bruisers, right? Nope. Ravenous is getting buffed. Again, tanks and bruisers. Nope. This is getting buffed, which is decent, but it's, like, stupid. Okay, and then support items. They all require an ally now. Boots of Mobility got more expensive. Boots of Swiftness got more speed. So they're kind of balancing these two out. And then ARM got changes. No one cares. Eternals are coming out. Get your wallets ready. I think these are decent. I mean, Eternals, honestly, is Riot's lazy way of adding achievements in this game that you have to pay for some of them. And their excuse is, oh, you can get some of them for free, you get all of them for free eventually. Yeah, if you play like me and fucking no-life this game sometimes, yeah, maybe. But other than that, this shit's stupid. And a whole shit ton of bug fixes to Riot's billion-dollar game, and the skins I described before as, like, kind of shitty. Well, this is the patch notes. I hope you guys enjoyed. I give this a 6 out of 10 Marc Merrills. This patch was kind of ass except for the Caixa change. Everything else was kind of like I didn't care. But that's it. So I'm going to go play League now.